Welcome to Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli, where we highlight and speak with the innovators, the game changers, and the pioneers who are deeply passionate and relentless in solving the problems our world is facing today. This is your opportunity to connect with and learn from these leaders and to support them on their mission. Perhaps they will soon be hearing your story as well. This is Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. I look forward to having you on this journey with us. Welcome to session 5 of A Moment with Mike on our podcast. I wanted to take a moment with all of you and share some thoughts and observations I've recently experienced regarding the topic of mental health and well-being during this pandemic. But before I dive in, a bit of housekeeping. While listening to any of our episodes, please make sure to join our free online community at passionatepioneers.com in order to share feedback and ideas and to interact with the global ecosystem. If you're listening to this episode via our online community, thank you for being with us. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you will automatically receive episode updates in your podcast player. Simply search Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So during a recent episode, I mentioned that in times of great chaos, great opportunities exist, and that we are in those exact times right now with this pandemic. And I believe that just doesn't apply to technology and innovation. I believe this also applies to the opportunity for great cultural shifts as well. Cultural shifts that can benefit all of us for generations to come. What do I mean by that? Well, during a recent talk I gave to University of Denver students in an online class, we discussed the entrepreneurial journey and the difficulties that can come along with it. I shared with the students that I was almost on the brink of divorce and that my spouse and I, we went to marital counseling, relationship counseling to get back on track. While I've shared that before in many talks publicly, this time felt different. It felt very easy to share, and more importantly, it seemed very well received by the students. Not to say that it wasn't in the past, but maybe for some reason during this pandemic, we're much more attuned to hearing emotions and thoughts just like that. And also, recently on Twitter and LinkedIn, I'm seeing more and more posts of people talking about the realities and the experiences and the difficulties they're going through with this pandemic. Specifically, I saw a post on LinkedIn recently from a CEO who was very transparent in that she broke down on an internal team meeting and discussed the difficulties that she was personally experiencing in her own life. But what was so beautiful in all of that was the message that she received from one of her team members on how much she appreciated it and how she felt it helped further gel the company and the team members that work alongside the CEO. I'm even seeing amongst our own colleagues with the companies that I'm associated with, the authenticity, the realness amongst each other. Also, in client meetings, whether it be with current clients or prospective clients and partners, no longer do we just say, "How are you?" It seems more in depth now. Like, how are you holding up? I believe that this pandemic can really shift our societal mindset regarding how we talk publicly about mental health, both amongst our personal and professional relationships. No longer do we park mental health in a dark corner and ignore it. There may be opportunity for a phoenix to rise from the ashes of this pandemic and shift the cultural mindset around mental health and well-being. Why can't we, amongst each other, whether it be personally or professionally, or both, openly discuss our battles and our successes with mental health and well-being? Matter of fact, Michael Phelps recently on ESPN.com wrote an article sharing this is the worst he's ever experienced despair in his life. That's authentic. That's real from one of the most decorated Olympians in the history of our country. We're seeing this shift, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Sure, we're dealing with a crisis like no other, a crisis we've never experienced in our own lives. But through that crisis and through that chaos, might there be an opportunity for all of us to reimagine how we talk and how we interact with mental health and well-being and how we can support each other along the way? I would love to hear your thoughts and continue this discussion over at passionatepioneers.com. There'll be an article posted to be able to share your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, and interact with the community. I believe we have an opportunity at hand with mental health and well-being like never before. Now might be the time to change course and create anew around an incredibly important topic that touches every single one of us. So again, I hope you head over to passionatepioneers.com, our free global online community, and share your thoughts and ideas on new models or processes or ways that people are addressing mental health and well-being in their communities. I can't wait to hear from you and learn from you. Thank you for spending time with me today on this Moment with Mike, Session 5. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. We'd love to hear your feedback about the podcast so we can continue to improve this community and to further support the pioneers being featured. Lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and invite your friends and colleagues to join us. This is Passionate Pioneers with Mike Biselli. I look forward to having you back with us during our next episode.